What's up, everybody? We are here with multi-champion in the WWE, one host of the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, the longest reigning internet champion. He had a top 100 song on iTunes in 2012, and in my opinion, his biggest accolade outside of the ring, he is friends with Super Gabby. We are here with Matt Cardona. How you doing, sir?
What's up, man? I'm very impressed by this whole setup with the countdown. I was in this virtual waiting room, so this is pretty cool.
You guys don't use StreamYard for any of the Major Wrestling Figure podcasts?
We do not. We might have to start now. Look at that.
There's a lot of different broadcast stuff you can do with like the banner on the bottom and such. So
yeah, it sounds
how's
cool.
everything?
I like
How
it.
you keeping busy? And how's life?
Life's great. Keeping very busy. Today, just went to the gym, did some podcast stuff. So a lot of free time to build that brand, and that's been a lot of fun. Passion project of myself and Brian. I know you're going to have Brian and Smart Mark on tomorrow. But doing the podcast stuff is great, and it's such a creative outlet, and we've been having a blast with it.
Awesome. We have a lot of people here. We're going to hop right into it. We'll pull up Mike. What's up, brother?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for doing this.
Mike, what's up, man?
Doing all right. I got a question for you. What led you into wrestling? What did you say when you were growing up? What said, okay, I want to be a wrestler?
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I always was obsessed with wrestling, whether it be, watching on TV or playing with the wrestling figures or wrestling with my brothers on the trampoline. And I just never grew out of it. When it was time to, pick a real career and a real job, I told my parents I want to go to wrestling school. And, I made a little deal with them. I'd go to community college if they paid for my wrestling school. But that was it. That was the only thing I ever wanted to do. I had no plan B. It was just full steam ahead. I have to make it. And luckily I did.
Yeah, 'cause one of my favorite matches, it was like, so when you won the title at WrestleMania, that was just the IC title. What did that feel like?
That was the absolute best moment by far. Not just of my career, but of my life at the time, and then to have my dad get into the ring, that wasn't storyline. That wasn't written by some writer. He legitimately hopped the guardrail and slid in.
Cool.
And at the time, I was kind of pissed. But looking back, I'm so glad he did, because it made that moment something that I will never forget. Like I said, something that couldn't be written, and it was perfect.
All right, man. Thanks for the time, man. You're awesome, man.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it.
Mike.
All right, man.
We will say hi to Johnny.
Hey, how are you?
Johnny, what's up, man?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm good, bro. I'm just, I got some podcast stuff before this, after this. Always ready and always working.
You should get me on your podcast. I belong on there.
Oh, yeah? You got a big collection?
Next time you come to Toronto, yeah, you should definitely swing by my place.
Oh, hell
A lot
yeah.
of stuff here. I mean, I could never show you it all, obviously, and I'm not going to take up everybody's time, but yeah, I'm a major figure mark. It's everywhere. I got it all just plastered everywhere, buddy.
Look at those Hasbros right there, looking good.
It just never ends. What I'm really big on is collecting signed figures. I've got well over 150 of them now and still going. But anyway, I guess one of my major questions for you, because being a figure collector and whatnot, would be what is the figure now that you are sought after? What is your most desired figure? I mean, you might already have it, but if I want to know if you have it, and if you don't have it, what would be the next figure you're most sought after?
Yeah. So it's funny, I have something right here, a classic case of figure fate. I have right here, it's the Hasbro Diesel 2-Up head.
Okay.
So I have the actual drawing to this Diesel. I have the head, and I don't know if it ever made it to the prototype stage. We know it was supposed to be on a Papa Shango body, but we don't know if it ever got that far. Hasbro lost the license. They at least made the 2-Up head, which is a good sign. And then last year, the year before that, a Doink and a Lex Luger popped up, fully painted, but those were just re-releases or repaints. So it makes sense that they had those molds ready to go. So did the Diesel ever get to the prototype stage? I don't know. And if he did, he would definitely be my holy grail.
The thing for me is this day and age, the thing I'm most paranoid about is that anybody could pretty much make anything. And how do you know if it's real or not?
Yes. You have to do your research and you have to do your due diligence, and people make some badass customs and badass 2-Ups, and it's very easy to be faked. But if you have a real prototype in your hand, if you've held a real prototype, and if you have real ones to compare these customs to, you can tell plain as day what the real thing is and what's not.
Well, I'll show you a quick prototype I have that isn't very common. This is Honky Tonk Man from Unmatched Fury.
Yes, I have seen that. I have seen that floating around. That's a cool one. That Unmatched Fury line, there were some really good ones, and then there's a lot of bad ones. If you look like the $1 Million Man, if you look at that face on the $1 Million Man, that's actually going to be the WTF figure of the week this week. It's just not a good one. But I love that line. I have the Hogan, Austin, Edge, the Hitman, and of course there's a Warrior. I think I have a Razor. At one point I had them all, but I've condensed the collection down.
I'm wearing a Marty Jannetty ring-worn Survivor Series armband.
That's pretty cool.
Just
That's
for the heck
awesome.
of it. And there was one other quick thing I was going to say to you. Now I forgot. Slipped my mind. I hate when that happens.
Well, I got Twitter. I got social media. You can always hit me up on there.
I think I have, and you never replied to me.
Oh, well, bro, come on. I have a couple million followers. I'll try to get to you. I'll try to get to
Maybe
you.
you'll remember me now. I was on High Spots, and I bought Kurt Hawkins' WrestleMania gear that day.
Oh, okay, cool.
You know
Yeah.
what?
High Spots was a lot of fun.
I recently tried buying your jacket, which was an old jacket you'd sold. It was the Broski jacket, where it was all kind of black and had some purple on the collar. It was a ring-worn one.
Yeah.
I guess that somebody else had bought in a while ago. And he had it listed for like $650. And so I went to buy it, and then he's like, "Oh no, it's pandemic times. Everything's gone up." I want $850 for it now. And like being in Canada, with the US dollar being so shitty, there was no way I was gonna like fork out that kind of money to get that jacket.
Right.
My
Well,
plan
I mean,
was
I don't have much ring gear left. Once we got released, Hawkins and we went crazy and just sold everything that had like no sentimental value. So I still have some stuff, of course, like WrestleMania gear and stuff that I think is cool. But I'm a big gear guy, so I had so much gear. I was like, oh my God, I don't even remember wearing this. There's some gear that I had that I know for a fact I never even wore.
I was trying to wear your jacket, so I would have been wearing it live on this interview. But unfortunately, it's just going to be Marty Jannetty tonight.
That's fine. That's fine, baby.
All right,
Thanks,
Zach,
Johnny.
I appreciate your time, and you take care. Maybe we'll be in touch.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
All right,
See you,
take
Johnny.
care.
All right, Matt, we're going to cut to a little segment we do. I'm going to hop off, and then our little buddy Steve's going to hop on.
Okay.
So we're going to do a little intro here for.
Thank you for spending your time to do this, and high five!
High five, Steve. Yeah, there you go.
Woo, woo, woo.
Oh, you know it, bro. I love your collection back there. It looks awesome.
Yeah. So first, thank you. And the first question is, this is my Grail figure, the Macho Man Slim Jim.
Okay, yep. I love that figure.
And what's your Mattel Grail figure that you're after?
Ooh, a Mattel figure that I'm after. I think it might be one of the super rare Ultimate Warrior figures that were just made for him. I do have a few of them, but some of them are crazy expensive online. So I haven't gotten all of them. And those are just things that are on like my checklist that I'm not actively searching for because they're just way too much money. But you never know. Sometimes you might get a good deal. But definitely one of those exclusive Ultimate Warriors.
Okay. Nice. And I just gotta say that thank you for complimenting my shelf. I think you're one of the best wrestlers of all time, and you have I love your show. When it ended, I got so mad.
Oh, well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I love your collection. When I was your age, I was playing with all the figures. There was no way I would have them all displayed. So I'm actually very, very impressed that you have them all nicely displayed like that.
Yeah. I have survived 2 brain surgeries. Fighting, what did it mean to you to beat cancer and then leave your dream?
Well, first of all, buddy, stay strong. I love hearing that you beat it. And for me, it was something, it was something that happened when I was young, and I just knew that I wanted to be a wrestler, and then I had to beat it because I had to be a wrestler. I had to live out my dream. So I wasn't done yet. So I had to keep fighting. So you keep fighting too and staying strong, bud.
You're an inspiration to me.
Well, thanks, bro. You're an inspiration to me. That means a lot. Thank you.
What is the one wrestler, dead or alive, that you would like to fight?
Ooh. I mean, of course, I'd love to wrestle like the Macho Man. It's like a dream, to wrestle him. And then alive, definitely Edge. He was somebody who we were the Edge heads, Hawkins and I. Always looked up to him even before I got into the business. He was always a dream opponent. And now that he's actually back wrestling, you never know what could happen. Anything could happen. So one day you might see Matt Cardona against Edge. So that would definitely be a dream match for me.
Okay. Thank you for spending your time. And the last thing is, remember when you got slapped in the face with that high five big hand?
I do remember. Thank you for bringing it up.
Thank you so much for spending your time. It means so much to me last time, and thank you for complimenting myself.
Awesome. Keep it up, buddy.
Thanks, Steve. Oh, he left on us already. Matt, a quick question. How is it, like, you're obviously in AEW now, a place that doesn't seem to suppress creativity? Obviously, as yourself, way back with Long Island IC, the True Long Island Story, like, you're obviously a very creative guy. How was it, like, working so long in a place that suppressed that from you?
It was just one of those things that the Z True Long Island Story is something I did on my own, and it definitely worked, and it got me noticed. I still think, that's the reason we're talking today, because it gave me longevity in this business. So, that was a lot of fun. And then I'm just someone who's just always creative. I hate just sitting back doing nothing. So, with the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, Brian and I would kind of push the envelope a little bit. But, we just wanted to try. We started doing, having pro wrestling tees and then doing live shows and making our own wrestling figures. So now that we're, out of WWE and the handcuffs are off, and not saying that they were on before, but they're definitely off now, we can do whatever we want. And, right now we're working for different companies. We're working all over the place. So it's fun that the Major Wrestling Figure podcast is the one thing, the glue that holds us together. And, we have another live show coming up. We're about to announce it. Our first one since the pandemic is going to be in the beginning of November. So listen to the Major Wrestling Figure podcast for details. But stuff like that. And then also, with Ringside Collectibles, we made our own wrestling figures. And now with Super 7, we made our own Matt and Brian figures. No mask. It's clearly us. And that's very, very, special to me. It's, having a Mattel figure, super cool, right? But you don't have any input, really. You get shown it. Maybe since we're kind of friendly with the Mattel guys, we can tell them, hey, switch this, switch that, but not really. So with these Super 7s, we got the prototypes in the mail, and we literally went through it and said, okay, well, these boots need to be, silver instead of white, and I need to be more jacked, and so on and so forth. And those figures are really, really cool. They're going to be awesome. The best Matt and Brian figures by far. And this is the last week to actually pre-order them. People don't understand. It's weird in like the wrestling figure community, this pre-order system, you pre-order something from Ringside Collectibles, you might get a little early. Maybe you want to wait for the stores, but these Super 7s, the pre-order is the order. If you miss out on this window, like that's it. They're only making as many as ordered. So if you haven't gotten them already, pre-order them now. I'm not going to plug the figures this whole time, but they're really, really cool. And I really, really love them.
They look awesome on the unboxing of the prototype you did on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast YouTube.
Thank you.
So everyone go buy them.
Yeah.
We will head over to DDJ Dennis. What's up, brother?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Dennis, love the shirt, baby.
Thank you very much. I wore it just for the occasion.
I figured.
Yeah. So I got a real just weird story I have to tell you. A few years ago, I had a dream once where I actually met Vince McMahon and we started talking.
Okay.
And we got into a heated argument because I was really pissed at the way you were being treated at the time. And I ended up thinking the end of the dream ended up resulting in me getting thrown out. But I just wanted to tell you that's something for some reason it stuck with me.
Well, I appreciate the support even in your subconsciousness.
No problem. So one wrestling related question and one podcast related question.
Sure.
My wrestling question is I know you said your career highlight was winning the Intercontinental title at Mania 32. Do you feel like losing it the next night took away from that from you, or did it have any effect on the moment at all?
I think losing it the next night made the moment. I wish I would have lost it later on in the night. like why have the title for like 2 weeks or 2 months unless I was going to go undefeated for like 2 years? Take it off me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the story. That's the story of Zach Cardona, Zach Ryder, Matt Cardona, the underdog who finally gets it and then gets taken away. So I thought that's what made the story so special because nobody thought I was going to win. And then to lose it the next day, I was like, oh my God, he finally got something and he lost it. So I thought that moment was the way to go. Like if I would have lost it, I don't know, at Backlash against Cesaro, who cares? You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that I lost it the next night. Perfect fit for my career.
All right, and then my podcast-related question is I just actually started out on a couple of podcasts, so I'm still new to the whole thing. What kind of advice do you have for someone who's just starting out in the world of podcasting?
Yeah, well, see, like we've been doing it for about 2 years, but we're still starting out technically. You know what I'm saying? That's nothing really. So we're still working hard and trying different things. My advice would be consistency. So let's say your podcast drops Friday morning. It better drop Friday morning no matter what. You can't skip a week, especially in the beginning, because once someone, they're not listening to it, it's not part of their routine. They might forget or they might unsubscribe. So you got to be consistent, and then just find something you're really passionate about. Don't try to force something. And even if it's a small audience, like the wrestling figure audience is quite small. You need to listen to podcasts. Well, first you need to like wrestling podcasts, and then like wrestling figures enough. Those who are wrestling figure podcasts. So our audience is kind of small, like the numbers, but we take that core audience and they're so dedicated, and that's what makes it, because we're also passionate about it. If we were just BSing about something I wasn't passionate about, it wouldn't have taken off. But it's something we're so passionate about, and the audience is very passionate too. So it's just a lot of fun.
Awesome. And then real quick before I go, will we ever see the return in some form of the Z Long Island story?
No, for a couple of reasons. One, I don't own it. That's the big one. And two, it was what it was, and it was so perfect. We're not going to get into like the last year of me having to do it and it becoming like a job. Whatever. I'm very proud of the 100 episodes, and I think it's a complete story that way. We captured lightning in a bottle. I say we because it wasn't just me; it was all the fans. With the Ryder Revolution and the We Want Ryder. Without the fans, it would have been just me talking to a flip phone or flip camera, whatever it was. So that was something I'm very, very proud of. And will I ever do another web show? I never say never. I've tried before, but you can't capture the magic or recapture the magic. So I'd love for it to just stay as that 100 episodes and just live forever like that.
Awesome. Well, hey man, thanks for your time and best of luck to you in the future.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate the support.
Thanks, Dennis. We will say hi to Brittany.
Hi. I'm
Hello,
a big
Brittany.
fan since
Thank
your
you.
early WWE days. I love your fiance too, by the way. She's
You know what?
awesome.
I love her as well. Yeah.
She's so pretty. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Before I get to my two questions, not that Jacob, but my friend Jacob told me to tell you that Thrill Zone is better than Turmoil and Brian.
Oh, bullshit.
Oh,
Bullshit. That's NyQuil Zone. Thrill Zone sucks.
He also
Thrill
told
Zone
me to tell
sucks.
you Brian didn't cheat.
Brian did cheat. He did cheat. For those who have no idea what we're talking about, this won't make any sense, but we have the Figure Wrestling Federation, and Brian drafted Owen Hart. So he does have the rights to Blue Blazer, but he used them both in the same segment. They're not two different characters, the same man. So he cheated.
Well, I'm Team Cardona anyway, so.
Well, thank you very much.
Two quick questions. One of them was, do you actually know how many pieces of memorabilia that you own?
No, I do not. Thousands, too much.
And
There's no checklist. I have like a mental checklist. Like if you asked me if I had something, I'd probably be able to tell you if I did, unless it was some like random figure that like means nothing to me that I just have for the sake of having it. But for the most part, I could tell you what I do have, but I don't have a checklist or anything. I do have a checklist of things I need, but not of what I have.
You should do that one day because I would love to see how many pieces.
Oh my God, I don't want to know.
And my second question was, if you could build a stable of 5 people, including yourself, to be top guys, who would you want in it with you? People that were like underutilized, that didn't get enough opportunities, like yourself.
Something that I always wanted to happen, and I thought it got pretty close. But I say it got pretty close, but it probably never got close at all. It was myself, Ziggler, Morrison, and Miz. I would love for that because that's our true clique of people. And if you got to add one other person in there, we could add Hawkins in there so we can get our coffee.
Also, tell AEW they should sign you already.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And give you a world title because I was waiting for
Maybe one day.
I was waiting for that in WWE too.
Well, I appreciate that. And, never say never. I still got a lot of time left.
Oh, you'll get it. You'll get it.
Thank you.
But thank you so much for talking to me.
No problem. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Brittany.
Bye.
Bye.
Matt, I know you touched on this a little bit, but like before, obviously early on in your career, you wouldn't kind of play with the figures backstage or talk about figure collecting at all. How is it now kind of having it's a whole kind of crew, Marty, who we haven't heard from in a while, he collects figures, and Brian and a few other wrestlers. So how is it like kind of being more open about it and sharing it with now?
Yeah, the times have changed. When we broke into the business, especially WWE, it was it was guys like The Undertaker, JBL, these grown-ass men who didn't grow up playing with wrestling figures. There were no wrestling figures for them to play with, so they had no attachment. They had no sentimental value. They didn't grow up with the cartoons and the ice cream and the bed sheets and the wrestling buddies like we did. So we were the first of a generation. And slowly over time, younger people would come in, and now, we're all kind of the same age, and, everyone remembers those wrestling buddies or watching Superstars on Saturday mornings, you know what I'm saying? So now it's a lot more accepted in that regard, and now, there's people playing video games, and, Xavier Woods is blowing up with Up, Up, Down, Down, and then there's like spin-off shows of that, and everyone's twitching and stuff like that. So I think now it's just accepted, especially with like Comic-Cons and stuff like that just whatever you like, just, be proud of it. Don't be afraid anymore. It's not like the 40-year-old virgin anymore, and that's what we're trying to do with the Major Wrestling Figure podcast. It spread that awareness, is that it's cool to, if you collect something, that's cool. It doesn't matter what it is. If you're into something, be proud of it.
Awesome. We will say hi to Hunter.
Hey, what's up, Matt?
Hunter, what's up?
So, first of all, I just want to say that I'm a big fan, and growing up, I grew up with Z True Long Island Story.
Thank you for making me feel old.
I'm 15 now, and
oh, wow.
It started me with pretty much my love for wrestling, and now I started training wrestling at age 13 in North Carolina. So I do have one question for you.
Sure.
If you've been looking into some smaller companies and some indies, what are some places you would like to work after COVID?
Yeah, that's the thing right now. It's so exciting on one hand that I'm going to be able to wrestle in all these different places. But right now it's just a weird situation, a weird time in the world. But I'm, like when Cody left WWE, he had that list and he put it out there. So I can never put out like a list, but in my head, I definitely have a list of guys I want to wrestle, places I want to go, big and small. I'd love to go to, New Japan and wrestle there, but there's also a lot of indies, in the US that I'd love to do. It's just even go back to like my home promotions in New York and do like the New York Wrestling Connection. Their big event was called like the Psycho Circus. I would love to just be in the main event of that just to say I did it, just kind of close that chapter of that book. But this is a weird time in wrestling. But when the world opens back up, I think it's going to be the best time in wrestling because the fans are excited, the wrestlers are excited, and there's going to be some kick-ass shows all around the world.
Yeah, man, here in North Carolina, we're starting to open back up the fans. Like some fans are like a minimum capacity pretty much.
Right.
So like we have social distancing in our building. So I mean we're having fans back. It's a big part.
Yeah. The fans are very important. I mean, kudos to AEW and WWE who did these shows with no fans because the show must go on. But this business is all about the reactions from the fans. So once the fans are safely allowed back in the arenas, everyone's going to have a lot more fun.
Yeah, we did one show without fans, and it just wouldn't work for me.
Yeah, it's tough, it's very hard because the whole art of professional wrestling is feeding off that audience.
Yeah.
So without the audience there, you're just kind of going through the motions and just, doing a dance.
Right. And also, thanks for reminding me to get a new camera.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say your camera's blurry as hell.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if you need better lighting, better camera, but It's all good, baby.
I'm too broke to buy a new camera.
Thanks, Hunter.
All right, I'll see you, Jay.
See you, man.
We will say hi to Steve.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Steve, what's up, man?
Man, just to say, I really appreciate all the love you've gone into the podcast, with your love for the figure collection and everything. As you can see, I have a little bit of a collection myself.
I love it.
I have, in terms of working with All Elite Wrestling, now, who's the one person you'd be very intrigued to have a match with in that promotion?
Ooh, there's so many people. Like I was kind of just mentioning, like if I made a list, I'd be leaving people off accidentally. But, you know, I think about wrestling like collecting action figures. It's a brand new bunch of guys I have to play with. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be guys I've wrestled before, like Brody or Cody or Jericho. There's so many guys I've never wrestled. You know, Darby Allin, the Bucks, MJF, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, so many guys, SCU. See, I'm already forgetting people, but you list the person, I want to wrestle him. And that's what's so cool about this time, is that it's a lot of fun to get excited again about wrestling.
I really appreciate allowing me to have this time to ask you this question. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. Jacob, appreciate it.
Steve, thank
Thanks.
you.
See you, Steve.
We will say hi to Dean.
Hi, Matt from the UK here.
Dean, what's up, man?
Hey, good, man. Just a question from you, just for your final days, obviously, in WWE. What do you think you could have done differently towards the end to get a bigger push? Because obviously, like myself, a lot of fans kind of wish you were more in main event, you know?
Yeah. You know, listen, I'm somebody who always wants to put the blame on myself. I never want to, you know, look back and say like they held me down or they didn't push me, blah, 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 because that doesn't change anything. It doesn't make you happier. You know what I'm saying? But towards the end, I think, you know, with Hawkins, and I do think that we were really trying to push to be bad guys, to be heels. We kind of were doing it on like some backstage stuff that they put on like WWE.com, where we wanted to preach that we were in the gratitude era, and, you know, and kind of be like over the top, cheesy and positive, where people would hate us. I wish we would have gotten the opportunity to do that, but we didn't. And that is what it is. Yeah. And then the day Hawkins and I got released, it was just unspoken between us. Like, we're done teaming. Like, let's go do our own things from now on. You know, it was fun to be back together, but, you know, I think deep down, we both want to be singles wrestlers. So this new opportunity for both of us is going to be great for us.
Do you feel like it's an AEW? It's a different feeling that you're going to go in a different place, different storylines, etc.
Yeah, you know, I was at AEW for a couple of weeks, and just the vibe was super cool. The atmosphere was super cool. I feel like if you wanted to just talk to Tony Khan about something, he was very approachable, and not like Vince McMahon wasn't, but it was just, you know, Tony was very. He always made me feel very comfortable. He offered to be on the podcast, like, which was super cool, and he gave us like an hour of his time. So that was, you know, made me feel very comfortable very fast.
We hope it's successful anyway. Hope to see you on TV more.
Thanks, man. Me too. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dean.
Thank you.
Matt, we'll play a little game, just a 5-name association. I'll throw out a name, and you just give me like a quick word if you want.
Okay.
First one is Cody Rhodes.
I'm going to say VIP, because we like to do the VIP tours at the theme parks.
Vince McMahon.
He fired me.
Hornswoggle.
Doo-doo and chocolate, because his hands are so filthy, they're covered in doo-doo and chocolate.
Luke Gallows.
One of the funniest guys I know, not just in wrestling, but in life.
And the last one, Super Gabby.
Super Gabby, oh my God. I cannot believe this guy has turned into this mini phenomenon. I can't believe I just used the word phenomenon. He's this guy I found in Orlando, has this storage unit full of figures. I met him about maybe almost 2 years ago now, and he was trying to sell everything off, but every time I go there, he's got more and more stuff. So hit him up if you need something.
A little disclosure, we try to get Super Gabby for our major wrestling figure podcast a few days here.
Really? He
Super
doesn't have a computer.
Super Gabby was available, but did not know how to work the system, so he could not join us. But that was his excuse, I guess. But or
I
answer.
believe it.
But here is Peter. What's up, man?
Hey, Matt. Thanks for being here, man.
Peter, thanks for being here too.
So my question's super simple. I'm a huge Funko guy. I have a big Funko collection, and I was always kind of wondering, what was your first Funko or favorite Funko other than the one of you?
I think my first Funko figure ever was a Darth Vader.
Okay.
I found Funko because I collect Ghostbuster stuff, and I was on one of the Ghostbuster websites, and they showed the Ghostbuster Funkos that were coming out. This is years ago now. I was like, oh, these are really cool. What are these Funko things? And I put them into Google, and I'm like, oh my God, they make Turtles and they make Star Wars. At the time, they had a couple WWE stuff. So I thought it was really cool that you could collect all these different lines and they'd be in the same scale. So, a collection of like 20 turned into like over 500. I since scaled it down because like I don't have the real estate for it. I don't have the room for it.
Right.
And it's just getting out of control. So there's so many times I almost like pulled the plug on the collection because they keep making, you think you have all the Back to the Future stuff and then they make more.
And
Then
more.
they make, it's like, how much can I really get? Which is a good business model, I guess. You're getting old fans, new fans. So I like what they do there. And I really like that you can collect so many different things and they all look uniform because I think it's the first time that's really been done.
Awesome. Yeah, that was it.
All right.
Thanks,
man.
Peter.
Have a good one.
We will say we'll go out to the UK again and say hi to Dan.
You're right there, Matt.
Hey, Dan, what's up?
I'm all good, mate. Talking to you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for being here.
I was going to ask you, Matt, what do you do in your spare time, and how did it come about to join AEW on your debut when you teamed up with Cody Rhodes?
Well, my spare time is usually doing stuff for the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, whether it be planning stuff out or doing, figure photography or making business deals or trying to figure out if we can get wrestling buddies made, just stuff like that, behind the scenes stuff. And the AEW, that happened because, obviously that's the place to be. You've heard for years, like this new promotion's coming and then it never does, right? But AEW did come. And, when I was released from WWE, I'm like, well, I definitely want to go there and try it out. And luckily for me, I'm good friends with Cody Rhodes, who has a little bit of stroke over there. So to come out and to do that month, do a couple matches, do a pay-per-view, it was a lot of fun. It's just to be out there and be me again. So I loved it. And hopefully we'll do it again soon.
Yeah, because you were great with the Ford tag on the pay-per-view. That was awesome.
Oh, thanks. It was a lot of fun. Just being out there and, so many people kept saying like, oh, you look like you gained all this weight and you look so much bigger. I think Hawkins said it best. It's because like they treated me like a star. I came out, I had an entrance, I had the pyro. Usually it's already in the ring, just in the corner. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about perception, right? And, they treated me like I deserved to be treated. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah, that was brilliant because I've seen you in WWE over here in the UK so many times.
Right.
And I'm so glad I met you tonight and you're giving up your time for us.
Well, this is the best part. I mean, without the fans, I would be nothing. So it's great that you guys are taking your time to be a part of it. So thank you very much.
I just hope I can get there and watch AEW live and.
Yeah, hopefully I'm there. Yeah, hopefully they go there and hopefully they bring me.
Thanks, Dan.
Exactly. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Dan.
We will say hi to Hector.
Hey, man, how you doing? Thank you for taking the time.
Hector, what's up, man?
I just want to ask you like a two-part one question. One of the things that I missed, obviously, because of the pandemic, we can't have the kind of wrestling events where you have like a butt in every seat. Can you just name your top 3 wrestling events that you ever attended live? And your favorite match that you saw live?
Wow, that's a hard-hitting question. I would definitely say, I was at WrestleMania 10 in Madison Square Garden. I loved that. I saw that infamous ladder match, Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. I saw that live. So that might be, the best match I've ever seen live. Other events that I enjoyed going to, I was at Royal Rumble 2000, where Taz made his WWE debut. That was like a rabid crowd. The fans were chanting, "We want Taz," before he even came out. I remember at Madison Square Garden, there was like a Kmart downstairs, and I went and I got a sign and I spelt Taz with 2 Z's because I thought I knew everything because I was reading the dirt sheets. That was really cool. And then I went to some ECW shows at like rec centers a town away from where I grew up, and it was just like such a almost like an indie show, just a small audience but loud and wild, and the wrestlers are wild. It was a true ECW show that you hear about all the time. So I'm super glad and fortunate that I got to experience a true ECW show.
My top three would probably have to be All In last year. And I went to All Out, AEW All Out, and I went to AEW Revolution.
Well, those are three great ones.
All right. But thank you for taking the time, and congratulations on everything that you do, and stay safe. And
well, thanks, Hector.
Tristan. We lost. Tristan, what's up?
Hi, what's up?
Hey.
How are you doing, Matt? Thank you for, doing this.
Thanks for being here.
All right, so I guess I have two questions. One question is, what is your favorite part about being a pro wrestler?
Ooh, I guess that's a tough one because, I grew up always wanting to be a pro wrestler. I just loved everything about it. Obviously as a kid, I didn't realize everything that goes into it. I just saw you're on TV, you're wrestling, you have the cool outfit and stuff like that. But what I love about it is the stuff that, when it's going to sound cliche and corny, but when I get to do stuff like this and people are, talking about how much, they love the stuff that I did. And it's crazy because I was that fan going to autograph signings too. So to be on the other side of the table, and I know this is not now we're on a computer screen, but to be on the other side of it is super cool. Because I went to so many autograph signings as a kid and a fan. So to be on the other side of the table, so to speak, is really cool experience.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I guess actually I just came up with another question.
Go ahead.
How did it feel for Eve to kick you in the nuts at WrestleMania?
You know what? At the time, that WrestleMania was super weird. I was super excited to be a part of it because that was my first WrestleMania match. But then there was a couple things that bummed me out. But beggars can't be choosers. We all had to wear either a Teddy Long shirt or a John Laurinaitis shirt, and we came out to Teddy Long music. And for the longest time, my only WrestleMania picture of me walking down the ramp at WrestleMania is me wearing a Teddy Long shirt, and behind me the screen doesn't even say WrestleMania, it's just Teddy Long's head. So I'm like, oh man. But it was cool. There were so many bodies in that match. So to be involved in the finish of the match and the getting kicked in the nuts afterwards, and you know what? People remember it. So if people remember it, win, lose, or draw, I don't care. That was definitely a unique WrestleMania moment.
And I guess then my final question is going to be, so in August, so I live in Wisconsin. We have, I attend Hornswoggle's promotion, ACW, which is honestly one of my favorite promotions to attend. And back in August, we saw a surprise of Brian Myers coming to the Rumble. Are we ever going to see you come to Wisconsin and wrestle in his promotion when you can?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I'm just waiting for this world to kind of just, settle down a little bit. And then, of course, that's my goal, is to do these shows, to go out there and meet the fans and wrestle all these new opponents. And if Hornswoggle, if he wants to pad that envelope a little bit, give me some money and fly me down or fly me up, pad that lope, I'm in.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time, Matt. Very nice meeting you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tristan. Matt, what is your favorite company to make figures, whether it be Super 7, LJN, Mattel?
Well, of course I'm going to say Super 7 right now. Let me look at this right here. We got a prototype right there. Super 7 asked for us to mail these back, but they got lost in the mail. But I think Hasbro's are my favorite because just the packaging looks so great and they're so nostalgic. I also love the Jakks Bone Crunchers, even though some of the figures are absolute garbage. That was the first line of figures where I was actually I want to say playing professionally and not just banging them together. And then I had the music, and then the internet was just coming out, so you could download music, and I had a computer so I could keep track of my title histories and stuff like that. So I have a lot of sentimental feelings towards the Bone Crunchers also.
Awesome. We will say hi to Dan.
Hey, Matt, how's it going?
Dan, what's up, dude?
Hey, so my question for you is what country do you like to go to the most and hunt for toys in?
Ooh, I love going to Japan. for so many reasons, and just they love wrestling. They appreciate the culture. There's this store. We have a vlog on the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast YouTube channel. You should check it out. Where we go to this wrestling figure store, very famous, and they just have they have like American stuff as well, but they have all these Japanese figures and so much rare stuff and like ring-worn gear and old magazines. So it's just like a part of history. So, and then of course there's like Ribera, the famous steakhouse, and luckily I've got the jacket. So I love going to Japan. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, that's on my bucket list. I want to go over and just check all those places out.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
there's so much cool stuff over there. You'd love it.
my other question for you is what figure are you looking forward to coming out? Because I know since you're an avid collector, which one are you looking forward to most to get your hands on?
Yeah, so like with the Mattel stuff, luckily Mattel makes a lot of old school guys and classic guys, and that's all I collect. I don't do the current day figures, and nothing against. There just needs to be an end somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I can't get everybody whoever comes out. I'll be collecting until I die. So they're finally making a Hollywood Hulk Hogan, which I'm very, very excited for. And like anybody that's like a legend that hasn't had a figure, I heard there's a rumor they're making a Michael Hayes, so I would love to get that in my collection. So anyone old school, I'm a sucker for that.
If they can make one figure, which one would you want made?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think everyone's been asking for an Owen Hart for so long. And hopefully now, with the Dark Side of the Ring and the Pro Wrestling Tee Store, hopefully now we can get a company that's not WWE and Mattel to make an Owen Hart figure in scale to, for the fans, you know what I'm saying? To really appreciate it. We've been making Owen Hart customs for years. Give us a nice Owen Hart.
Yeah, I have one actually right there.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that came from Ireland, from James O'Brien. He makes them. He's a great custom guy. Mine is I would like to see an Owen in an ultimate, like an ultimate edition with like the blue blazer outfit. You could take the mask off.
Hey, that would be
the
wild.
Cape.
Yeah.
That would be wild. But yeah, and I just want to thank you for doing this and taking time out of. I love watching you, and I watch your podcast. And
thank you so much, man.
You're great.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jacob, for doing this.
You're welcome.
And I will see you guys later.
Awesome.
See you, Dan.
See you, man.
Thank you.
Later.
We will say hi to Richie.
Hey, Matt. What's up, man?
Hey, Richie. How's it going?
Hey, I think last year I sold you a Hulk Hogan prototype, and I got 2 autographs for it, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Ooh, honestly, I make so many deals that I'm not even sure it's possible, though. Hopefully it was me and you got real autographs.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Good.
I know the guy that did it, so it's cool.
Sweet.
So I'm curious, what is your favorite thing to do? Like, what do you prefer to do? Hunt for figures or wrestle?
Woo! I mean, definitely wrestle. Hunting figures is great as well. It's a huge hobby of mine. It's a thrill. It's there's highs and lows. If you're searching for something at like Walmart or Target, and you're going and you know that it's supposed to be there and it's not there, that really sucks. And it's a time consuming. It's waste of gas, waste of time. But when you find something in like a vintage toy store that you didn't expect to see there, or something's on your saved searches on eBay and it pops up and you can snag it, that's a lot of fun. But it's nothing compares to being in the ring.
Well, that's good, man. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thanks, Jacob.
Thanks, bud.
Welcome. Thanks, Richie. Matt, I'm not sure like how much you're allowed to say about this, but like how many more matches? Do you have any more matches under AEW contract? Are you going to be there more often, or what's the deal there?
Hopefully I'll be there more often. As of now, the agreement we had was through the pay-per-view, so that's it. But hopefully, I didn't go there to just get 3 T-shirts. I went there to win some championships. So hopefully you'll see me there very, very soon.
Awesome. We will say hi to Adante.
Hey, what's up, Matt?
Hey, what's up, dude?
Not much. I got a little bit of a different question for you.
Okay.
Okay, so me and my girl are major collectors too, right?
All right.
So we like online collecting. We love it, but we like to go on the hunt on
For
foot.
sure.
So we've been noticing, especially with the AEW figures shortage, if that's what you want to call it, that it's been a plethora of AJ figures.
Right.
Why is that?
So there's certain guys, and Mattel makes a line called Top Talent or Top Picks, and it's usually like Seth and Finn Balor and AJ, and I understand it. It's let's say like little Johnny just watches Raw or SmackDown for the first time. He wants to walk into a toy store, and there needs to be an AJ there. There needs to be a Finn there, or a Seth, or a Roman. So, like, when we were little kids, like the Hasbros, for instance, they were around for 5 years. We got 5 Hogans, something like that. There's like probably 5 different AJ Styles on a current Walmart shelf right now. So I think it's because, for a new fan who's watching, that certain guys will always be plentiful, like having Batman, something like that.
Oh, okay. Right on, man. Appreciate you. Shout out to my boy Jake. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
See you, Dante. Man.
Later, y'all.
We will say hi to George.
Hey, hello. Can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Thank you.
Nice.
And I have a so fast question.
Okay.
You are a fan of the toys. So how do you feel to see your face, to watch your face on a toy?
Oh, man, super cool. The first time I ever got one was from Jax. It was an Edgeheads figure. Luckily, they sent me the prototype. So I have the hand-painted prototype, which is slightly different from the one that was released in the stores. So that's cool to have. And honestly, it never gets old. Every time, even if the figure isn't the best, or I think the outfit sucks, or something's incorrect, every time it's still cool to get it and open it up. And like I said, I'm going to plug it again. My Super 7 figures, pre-order them this week. It's time's running out, but it's super cool. Even this is probably like my 15th or 20th figure, but it never gets old. So I love seeing them on the shelves. I love just buying them, online and having just a stock of them. I just love it.
Okay, thank you. So
Thank you,
one
man.
thing, it's possible to make an interview with you.
Sure.
Sure. How I can contact you to make an interview. So
if you go to my Twitter, I have all the emails right there. Go to my Twitter page.
Okay.
All the emails are right there.
okay, because I am rig announcer, so for that.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Okay,
George.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
man.
Matt, 2-part question. What, out of your figures, out of all your figures, besides for Super 7, of course,
Yes.
which would be your favorite one of yourself? And
Okay.
how much input did you have on the new Edgeheads figures right before you guys left there?
So I think my favorite one would be the I call it the Woo SA figure. I don't even know what series of Elite it is. I'm in this all red, white, and blue.
This is off the top of my head, but I want to say 57.
It might be. So I designed that gear obviously with hopes that Mattel would make it. I took elements from a Macho Man, a Sting, Ultimate Warrior. They're real outfits, but also Mattel had made figures of them. So I kind of combined elements of all their gear to make like a super, like a super Zack Ryder. And luckily Mattel made it. Was it 100% accurate? No, but it was close enough. You know what I'm saying? It was close enough. So it's definitely one of my favorites, if not my favorite, because I think it's, we use the term toyetic. I think it just pops, and especially for me to have that Macho Man figure, that Sting figure, that Warrior figure, and then have me next to it on my display, super cool. As for the Edgeheads, that was all my idea. I was pitching it to Ringside Collectibles, pitching it to Mattel. Once Mattel started doing the interchangeable heads, and I knew it was possible. But we didn't actually have input on the design process. Luckily, that we saw some prototype images. We're like, "Ooh, this needs to change. This needs to change." But some things weren't able to change in time, or they didn't care what we thought. But again, like the tattoos are a little inaccurate. Like he has too many tattoos. It is what it is. I wish they would have painted the little rated R's on the wristbands. But other than that, I love the figure. I'm super grateful that it came out because we had other figures that were canceled. So to have this figure come out once we left WWE, and it to symbolize basically our first main look in WWE was super cool. Awesome. And I made it up. It was my dream figure, so even better.
Awesome. We will say hi to John.
Hey, Zack Ryder. Woo, woo, woo.
John, what's up?
Big fan of yours.
Thank you so much.
I wish I could go get those headbands. I want one of them to support you.
Well, thank you very much. You got that
You're
Carmella
welcome.
hat. That's a Carmella hat I see.
Of course, I got my WWE title. Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go. We're going to pretend that C is for Cardona. That's what we're going to do right now. We're going to pretend it's for Cardona. Yes.
Woo, woo, woo. You know it, broski.
Oh, I love it. Old school, baby. Old school.
Yeah, I miss you in WWE.
Well,
I know, you're with.
It was a hell of a time. It was a hell of a ride. Maybe one day I'll be back there now, but for now, it's just looking at other opportunities and trying to bust my ass and make a name for myself bigger than ever before. So thank you for the support.
You're welcome. And I could see you tag with Rey Mysterio for those tag team titles. Oh, yeah.
I would love that. I think I might have teamed with them before, like a 6-man tag or an 8-man tag, maybe even a straight-up tag. There's been so many matches I've had, and I don't even remember having them, and then I'll see a picture on social media, or someone will post, like, the ring results, like, 8 years ago, so-and-so defeated so-and-so. And I'm like, what? That was a real match? So it's pretty crazy.
I want to thank you tonight for having Zack Ryder, of course, from Long Island, New York.
Well, thanks for watching. Thanks
John.
for tuning in.
You're welcome.
See ya.
We got a couple more for you, Matt. We'll go to
Sure.
Matea.
Hey.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I hope you win the champion very soon.
I hope so too. You know, there's nothing better than having a title, you know, whether it's the U.S. title, the IC title, the tag team title, or the internet title, which is completely made up. But it's a lot of fun, and it's always a cool moment to have that title. And then, you know, when you go to autograph signings, the fans can take pictures with it, so it's even cooler for them.
So, what do you think about the Italian fans?
Oh, I love the Italian fans. I love going to Italy. I love the fans there because we don't go there that often. So every time we're there, they're super excited and loud and respectful. And I can't wait to go back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matea. Matt, with your creativity and the podcast in particular, do you think you and Brian could have lasted there with the new in WWE with the new like Twitch ban and the third party ban?
So I don't know what's going on with that. Obviously, I've seen the reports online. I don't know how true that all is. That would have sucked, you know. But luckily, you know, when we left WWE, we still had the podcast. If it would have been Zach and Kurt's wrestling figure show, it would have been done instantly. And we originally pitched to WWE for it to be, you know, the Zach and Kurt wrestling show. And they didn't want anything to do with it. They didn't see anything in collecting. They didn't see anything in podcasts. And now, you know, they have their own podcast. And it was going to happen eventually. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was going to happen eventually. But I'm just so grateful that ours was Matt and Brian, not Zach and Kurt, because we can continue it and make it stronger than ever.
Awesome. And we'll head to the last one for the night. Billy, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Matt?
Billy Peck, I like those two figures you got in the front. I can see them right there.
Oh, yeah. Got them all.
That's right, baby.
So, a friend of mine and I, we started watching you from, like, the very beginning of, you know, your WWE and ECW stuff. And we always thought it was pretty funny, you know, like, we both, you and Brian went on to become both of our all-time favorite wrestlers, but your very first match, oh, no problem. Your very first match was like, we're like, who the hell are these guys beating Monty Brown in their first match?
That's right. It's up.
So like
the Major Brothers. Actually, that night we were the Majors Brothers with an S, and then we got a slight name change because that was our name in Deep South. In developmental was the Majors Brothers, Brian Majors, Brett Majors, and then we had it for one night, and like it doesn't really flow off the tongue, the Majors Brothers. So they switched it right away, and we were panicking. Like, oh shit! All our gear says Majors, so we had to get new gear like a week.
Yeah,
and we didn't have any like stroke back then with any gear makers, so we were panicking.
Yeah, and yeah, that was kind of all like, you know, I wanted to kind of tell you that story and, you know, kind of see what you had to say about it, and you know,
it was a super cool
later.
That was a super cool night, super cool and super nerve wracking, but you know. That wasn't a plan. Like nobody was like, you know, it was a different era back then, you know, like they wanted to keep developmental and the main roster so separate. Now it's good how NXT is, it's not even developmental. It's another brand. So the transition 9 times out of 10 is an easy, you know, because people know the music, people know who they are, or enough people do. But back then they wanted it separate on purpose. And so we were in Deep South Wrestling, and Deep South closed down, and they shipped people to the new FCW that was just starting, and they shipped like maybe 5 or 6 of us to OVW. But in that week of us moving from Georgia to OVW, we got the call to be, I think it's like Birmingham, Alabama, and we ended up debuting on ECW. We're like, what the hell? You know, like it was not like something that was planned, at least not that we knew of. So it was just kind of a spur of the moment deal. And then we're like, well, are we like called up now? Are we on the main roster now? And like we were, but then we still had to go to OVW. It was just a weird time, but it was the best.
Yeah. And so, yeah, thank you. Obviously, you know, been a fan and followed the career all the way through and just can't wait to see what's next. So thank you.
Thanks, Billy. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Billy.
Yep,
Matt, I'm going to wrap
See
up
ya,
with
man.
one last question.
Okay.
Now, obviously, like in different towns, there's cool stores such as Wrestle Universe and stuff. But
right.
just in your hometown, besides for Super Gabby, where do you go if you need a figure, or more importantly, who do you call?
Honestly, in the Orlando area, there's nothing. There's a store. I'm not going to name them because I don't want to speak badly of anybody, but I just don't think they're that good. I think they're very overpriced. I went there once with Marty Skrull, and like I was blown away by like some of these prices. And I was talking to the guy behind the counter, and he was explaining, oh, we just go off sold eBay listings. I'm like, okay, that's great, but you can't just go to like the highest one. You have to like average them out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to average them out. So like that's a place where I don't necessarily think I would ever go again unless like I knew they had something that I really needed. And Super Gabby is just fun because he's just a character, and I just go there for YouTube content really, and then I'll buy a couple of things here and there. But unfortunately, there's not much in the Orlando area. That's one thing I do miss about being on the road is, you know, I would go on Yelp and type in vintage toy store, and I would always find something. Whether, you know, the place could suck, but sometimes it'd be really, really good. Like one of the best stores I ever found, you mentioned Wrestling Universe. I knew about that obviously before, but Toy Vomit on Instagram, Toy Headquarters, one of the best wrestling selections I've ever seen. Even now, I'm still buying stuff from this guy. He posts stuff every day, and I'm thinking, where the hell are you finding this stuff? You know, sometimes it's super rare. Sometimes it's just a bone cruncher that I want for my Fig Fed. So I would say Toy Vomit's probably the number one place right now. They definitely have an Instagram. I don't know if they're doing online orders. I think they make exceptions for me because I'm the Michael Jordan of Wrestling Figure Collecting. But, you know, and eBay is great. Also, like I don't want to plug the podcast, but we have a Facebook Patreon group where a lot of people do some buying and selling and trading. But yeah, I mean, eBay lately is just like, it's a disaster, I think, for buyers and sellers. Like, for instance, I've been looking for this Stacy Keibler Jax figure, this Ruthless Aggression. There's only one Ruthless Aggression style Stacy Keibler figure, and it's been on my save listings for a long time. So it popped up on eBay the other day, and I just put as my max bid $100. I'm like, that's the highest I'll go, like $100. And I just put it in there. There was a couple of days left, and I was winning for like $30-$35. And then all of a sudden it said I was outbid. And then a couple of minutes later saying someone retracted their bid and I was winning again for like $35. So I'm like, oh, so someone like just bid just to see how high my bid was. You know what I'm saying? Which is like scumbag 101. And then sure enough, at the last second of the auction, somebody bid just so I would win at $100. Like they knew what my absolute max was. And I even wrote to the seller. I'm like, dude, I think this is some shady business going on. And maybe he didn't know about it. But like usually someone would do that to beat you. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
So they did. Whoever did this wanted to see what my max bid was and then got it higher. So it seems like something the seller would do. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
And
definitely.
that's just some shady business. And then there's a lot of like the opposite, shill bidding, people getting these figures for high values and then not paying. And it's scamming and screwing up the whole sold listings situation because it doesn't say buyer didn't pay. You know what I'm saying? So luckily I did pay for this Stacy Keibler, and I wrote a little nasty note to the seller too, but he didn't respond.
And well, first off, thank you so much for being with us tonight, Matt.
This was fun. I was blown away by how professional it was and how smooth it ran. So congratulations, you got something cool here.
Awesome, thank you. And well, you mentioned a lot of it, but I want to hear all of it. The podcast, Super 7, plug away.
Wow. Yeah,
please.
Super 7 figures, they're right here. Pre-order stop on Friday. So go to super7.com to pick those up. Also listen to the Major Wrestling Figure podcast and the Figure Wrestling Federation. Figure Wrestling Federation every Wednesday. It's Brian Myers and I rebooking the Attitude Era with figures. It's pretty ridiculous. Every Friday, the podcast, youtube.com/MajorWPod. And then my social media, Twitter and Instagram is now at the Matt Cardona. And be on the lookout soon because I'll be taking some autograph signings, some independent dates very soon, and come out and see me. And just can't wait for the future. And thanks for the support, guys.
Thank you.